Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the NESG Academy monthly webinar. So I would want us to give about 5 more minutes so we have more people on the call. So once we have a good number, we will just kick off. We already have a speaker on the call, so let's just give more time to get more people to join, and we will begin. So please indulge us. Thank you. Okay, so I think we'll just kick off now. Okay, so good afternoon once again, everyone, and welcome to the NESG Academy monthly webinar. And this is the month of October. We've had sessions from the beginning of the year up until this moment. And my name is Akundaya Jai. I work with the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. So the Academy is the social impact initiative and the capacity building of the NESG. And what we do on a monthly basis is to bring distinguished speakers, professionals in their field to help us drill down on topics.
Hey.
Apologies. HLM, could you please? Apologies for that. So what we do is to bring distinguished speakers to the webinar, to our sessions, to help us drill down on focus areas, topics that are impactful to the general public. So today we have distinguished Mrs. Toyin Alasi. So I'm just going to go ahead to read our profile so we have an idea of who is speaking to us today and on what topic. So Mrs. Toyin Alasi is a distinguished financial advisor and coach whose work promotes financial literacy, wealth creation, and community empowerment. She is the founder and CEO of MoneyWise International, a financial advisory and coaching firm that provides investment consultations, employee training, strategic financial planning, and personal finance coaching. She is also a conference speaker, trainer, and host of financial education programs on television and other platforms. She is an alumnus of the University of Ilorin and Oxford University. She also holds a certificate in leading with finance from Harvard Business School. She is a fellow of the National Institute of Credit and Administration, and a certified financial education instructor. Mrs. Alasi has over 18 years of professional experience, including 11 years in the banking sector with Zenith Bank PLC, where she led marketing, credit advisory, and financial operations. And also she has 7 years to her belt as a transformative coach and financial literacy advocate. She is an active member of the Technical Committee on Financial Literacy of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Nigeria, contributed to national strategies that advance financial education. Through MoneyWise International and our various platforms, Mrs. Alasi empowers individuals, businesses, and communities to make informed financial decisions. Our mission is to bridge the financial literacy gap, foster wealth management practices, and promote financial empowerment across Nigeria and beyond. And she's going to be talking to us today on our core topic, transforming our mindsets when it comes to finances. How do we plan money? What are the best practices to plan money? So please, I want you to help me welcome Mrs. Toyin Alasi. You could just use your reactions, right? Your emojis. Let's just give her a round of applause as she joins us. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Okay. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you for honoring our invitation.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I'd like to start. So can I go ahead? Do I have the floor?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Okay. So I'd like to start by thanking the management for inviting me. I consider it a great privilege because my whole drive is to make sure that people are well equipped when it comes to their finances, and any platform that allows me to do that, I'm always grateful for that opportunity. So thank you for the invitation to the management of NESG, the academy, everything. I'm grateful. And thanks to you, Akundaya, as well, for the efficient coordination so far.
You're welcome.
So I'd like to welcome everyone who is here. Some of you know me, some of you don't. Beyond the CV or the profile that has been read, I'm just somebody who has a passion to help people win financially. And what I do is when I speak, I try to make it as simple and practical as possible. So yes, I may not have a slide for you today because I actually had to move my flight to yesterday back to base so I could be part of this webinar because it was clashing and I was going to be airborne at the time of this webinar, but so I couldn't get to pull a slide together for this. But it's going to be an impactful one. So the topic is transform your money mindset, cultivating healthy financial habits. And if you look at the word transform, it means change. So when you think of transformation, the only thing you need to think of is change. I want you to picture, I don't know how many of us did biology here, but we had a course in biology that was metamorphosis. How from larva, it becomes pupa, from pupa to adult, from adult to maybe the butterfly and all of that. That process is what we call the transformation. So as humans, it's expected that from time to time in our journey, we should transform. We should move from one level to another. And when it comes to your finances, we need to also transform our mindset. I love the word mindset because for some people, they're thinking, "Ah, what has got mindset got to do with money?" But truthfully, it's everything. In fact, in life, you attract what your mind can conceive, or what you see in your life today is a function of your financial mindset. So your level of financial success today is an offshoot or a function of your financial mindset. So I want us to know that this topic is very, very pivotal if we're going to succeed financially. What I enjoy to do also is when I speak about money, I may not tell you this is where to invest, this is where to invest. What I try to do is to make sure that I open your eyes to see. So I give you information that enlightens so that you have the right mindset for money. Because once you do, you can identify opportunities. If I ask a question here right now, that how many of you know that you should save money? Everybody here will say yes. If I say, how many of you know that you should invest? We all know we should invest. But the question is, how many of us are investing or saving? That's where the challenge is. So if you think about it really, while information, knowledge is important, translating that information and knowledge to become actionable things that we can do is always a challenge. And that's where mindset comes in. If your mindset about money is warped, your outcome financially will be warped as well. Let me use that word. So your mindset simply is your worldview. Your mindset is your perspective. Your mindset is your paradigm. Your mindset is your view about finances. Drilling it down now, it can be any area of life, but when it comes to money, your mindset is how you see money. And I'm not talking about physical eyes. I'm talking about your mind's eye, your understanding. You can relate it to the word understanding as well. So it's important that that mindset is right, because again, you can't be richer physically than how rich you are mentally. There's no way you can be richer physically than how rich you are mentally. So it's important that we pay attention to our mindsets. Now, this training will address different aspects. Some people here already have it figured out. They are successful financially, you're thriving, which is good. But what about please give me a second. Let me Okay, thank you for your patience. So, if whether you're already successful financially or you're on track, maybe your mindset is correct, then this is an opportunity for you to just take things higher, because change is the only constant thing in life. The level of results you've seen is a function of your mindset. So to take the results higher, you need to also shift your mindset, no matter how successful you already are. So for some people, that may be it. For others, it may be that your mindset so far has just been completely wrong and you need to change something. So it varies for different people, and I want us to open up our hearts to ensure that we're able to apply the principles that will be shared today. So don't forget that before money hits your account, it will first of all hit your mind. That's how important the mind is. Before you get that money in your account, I know a lot of people think, let me just wake up and money, I have 1 billion in my account. Is it impossible? No. But will it just happen like that? No, not until your mindset can receive can think billions, can embrace billions. Now, let me share something about our mind. It's not part of my notes, but I just thought to share with us how powerful the mind is. Now, I'm sure a lot of us here drive. If you think back to the first time you started to drive, you'll find out that you struggled a lot initially. You had to look down to see where the pedal or the throttle was so that you don't have an accident. You had to, you had to look at the road. You were everywhere. Now, what was happening at that moment? What's happening was that your subconscious mind, which is a major part of you, in fact, the most powerful part of our consciousness or our mental faculty, was trying to plot the route to driving. So you see those processes, the process where you're looking down, looking up, is not bad. But if you notice, your driver or whoever is teaching you will tell you, you need to do this 3 times a week. Why? The power of repetition. Because the more you do it, the more your subconscious mind plots your brain rather begins to connect it, and before you know it, there's a pathway. That's why you now drive, the same you that was looking at pedal and throttle and all of that, you now drive without even a consciousness of driving. You just find out that you're home. You just find out that, oh, I've gotten to where I'm going to, because your subconscious mind has stored it. Now, if you think about your finances, for example, the reason that you're not attracting some things or are not able to achieve some things is because of habits. And today we're going to focus on how we can communicate some of those financial principles to become habits that we can work out and live out as individuals and begin to achieve financial success. So your subconscious mind is so powerful that, also think about it. The day you said you wanted Range Rover Evoque, for example, that's the only car you see on the streets. Why? Your subconscious mind is alert and awake to it. People had it before. In fact, sometimes you wonder that, is it that when I said I wanted to buy, everybody is now buying the car? Because it's the only thing you see on the road. It's now very many and all of that. So it's your subconscious mind at work. That's how powerful the mind is. So anything at all financially that you can communicate to your subconscious mind, you will eventually become. That's why it starts from the mind. So wealth building, I'm sure you've read books, I'm sure you've studied. I don't know if you've read the book Think and Grow Rich, is very foundational to financial success. I want us to get that book and read it. Think and Grow Rich. It's a very, very good book to have. So that's why they say you think to grow rich. It didn't say get 3 jobs to grow rich. It didn't say chase money to grow rich. No, your thoughts is what attracts something you see in your life. Let me share a personal story. I remember when we moved to an area in Abuja, lovely apartments, beautiful apartments, but the road to that place, there's always traffic because it's busy. And after on my way from work every time, I'm always frustrated. I'm like angry because I could stay 3 hours on the commute and never get home on time. By the time I get home, I'm complaining and nagging, I'm angry. Something about me is just off. And then one day my mind just told me, look, I thought you were happy to get this house. Why are you letting the traffic make you get into a house that you love so much and you're always angry in the house? From that day, I decided, you know what, I'm going to change my disposition. So what do I do? On my way from work, knowing that I'll face traffic, I just put in a tape and I'll play tapes throughout. I mean, learning tapes now, not just listening to music or anything. Learning maybe something about from Miles Monroe or any mentor I follow. I'll listen to them, and in 3 hours, I would have consumed a lot of knowledge. Now, that change of disposition gave me a different perspective to the whole situation. So I get home, I'm no longer angry and all. I feel like I've achieved something, despite the fact that I was in traffic. Same traffic, same situation, but my mindset about it has changed. So I no longer got angry. And guess what? In 2 weeks, they came and they expanded the road and all that traffic ended. It reduced to the barest minimum. What am I saying? I don't know if you've heard about the law of attraction, but it's a real law. How you think determines what you attract. So it's important that when it comes to money, our mindset about money is right. So basically today we're just going to do an X-ray of our mind. about money, how we think about it. And then based on the results, we'll start to address some things, which I'm going to get into right now. So the first thing I want to talk about are signs that your money mindset needs a transformation. Signs that things you will see that makes you know that, oh, I need to change this mindset. If I'm going to create wealth, I need to change this mindset. There are certain things you can tell from, and you say, oh, this is not right. So number one is, when you believe that saving or investing is impossible because your income is too small, you have a wrong mindset about wealth. You have a wrong mindset about money. Anybody here who has achieved success financially knows that they had to do it even in the middle of not enough. If you're waiting for not enough, in fact, I always tell people the reason that not more than enough has not come, or that excess you're expecting, is because you've not embraced the mindset. Nobody's asking you to save all your money. Nobody's asking you to save a specific amount. In fact, in my teaching, I tell people just work with a percentage. And then the way out of that situation is actually applying that principle that you feel is impossible because of the situation you're in. If you really want the situation to change, you must stop thinking saving and investing is impossible because your income is little. No, you will not be able to turn around that situation with that mindset. Just take on the mindset. I can save and invest even with little. It doesn't mean, oh, 50%, 100%. No, it can be just because saving or investing has nothing to do with, especially saving money, excuse me, it has nothing to do with the amount. It has everything we do to do with the habits and the consistency. So it's not about the amount. Even if it's 2,000, even if it's 10 million, depending on where you are financially, I'm not sure I know exactly who the audience is, but I'm just speaking generally. Wherever it is for you, whatever amount, put it aside consistently. What are you doing? These habits are habits of the rich. In case some of us have underplayed the place of savings, or you've listened to some people online who says don't save money. You see those captions, they advertise it. Don't save money. They make it very bold. And something in you says, hey, I said it. Or they say saving doesn't make you rich. Savings doesn't build you wealth. And you feel like, I said it, no wonder I'm not rich. I've been trying to save my little penny, it's not working. Or because you don't like to save normally, or because you have a challenge with saving normally, you embrace that ideology because it's convenient for where you are. You are justifying your issues. So it's easy for you to relate with such posts. So they put it bold and advertise it online. And then the next thing is, a lot of us just take it hook, line, and sinker. We don't go and check. I follow a lot of people, and I learned from them who are major in that space of saying saving money won't make you wealthy. And then I register for their session, and because I really want to know, because I believe that saving money may not get you to wealth, but it's the foundational mindset that if you don't have, you can never be wealthy. Go and check with your billionaire mentor if you have one. I have some, and I've interacted with them. As billionaires, the least thing they want to do is to spend money. And if you ask them questions from here and there, you find out that that's what got them to where they are. Minimizing expense and retaining a huge chunk. So the goal is to ensure that money doesn't leave you as fast as it is coming. If you have a system where you don't retain anything that comes to you, your mindset about money is wrong. So you have to, and it doesn't matter how much you earn. Let me tell you something. You cannot feed a dog to become suddenly a lion. What do I mean? If you don't learn to save when you earn 500K or 200K or whatever the amount is, you will not be able to save when you start to earn 2 million, 3 million, 5 million. Why? What do I mean? You see, that dog only has capacity for becoming a dog. Or if you feed it from now to tomorrow, you want to change it to a lion, it won't work. So who you are is only what will be amplified even when you earn more money. So if you struggle to save now, when you earn more, you will still struggle to save. It will just never be enough. I've been there and I've seen people there. Many times there was a particular day, a lady called me. She earned 2 million every month, confirmed, apart from commissions from sales, and they were owing rents. They were in a lot of financial mess. I have had a lot of them, hundreds of them like that. It has nothing to do with how much you earn. It has everything to do with your mindset. So you cannot afford to think it's impossible to save because my money is little. Even if you can't save, don't have that mindset. So you are learning about money. You're telling yourself, I know I'm not doing this thing yet, but I believe that I can save money. I believe that I can do it. That's the disposition you must have. Number two is that you think that having a salary or consistent income automatically makes you rich or financially successful, or you are a big girl, big boy, because you earn big. Maybe your salary is over $1 million. Maybe you earn a substantial amount here, and you think that, well, life is good. I'm a rich person because you just earn that big salary. You're wrong. That mindset will not get you to wealth. Maybe this is when they say, oh, savings won't make you rich and all of that, because the mindset is wrong. What you earn is not what makes you rich. It's 50% of the equation. And the equation, I'm not even looking at the whole overall equation. If I'm going to look at the overall equation, for example, in the journey to wealth, you have making money, managing money, multiplying money, and then protecting money. So each of them, give them 25% each. So if you're all about making money and the other three aspects you're struggling, then you can see that you're not ready to create wealth. So, but let me even use the equation of just making money and managing it. Making money is just a 50%. Managing is 50%. I'm glad that you make money already. I'm happy that you already have that ability, because not a lot of people do. Some people, they're not even making money. They're just there. So, but for you to be able to make money, thumbs up. But you still have another 50%. So that money you're making, are you able to manage? Which is where a lot of people struggle. And the gap is just mindset. We're not learning about money. We're not gaining understanding as to how money works. We are not studying people who have achieved that level of results and following their pattern. We just look at their peripheral life and think that that's all that there is to them. But that's not true. If you read books of people like even Ray Dalio, the people who take the largest risks in the world, the largest hedge funds all over the world, they save money. They don't take risks on 100% of their income. They keep 30%. The percentage may vary based on risk appetite, but they don't spend all that they earn. They have secure baskets. Before they take risks, they ensure that there's a fallback. They don't just go in and just, So if you have the mindset that because I earn money, I'm good, I'm just rich, there's that feeling that comes on you because you earn money. You were able to move, permit me to use Abuja, you were able to move from Araba to Gariki, upgraded your life, your family can travel once in a year for vacation and all of that. You feel that you're rich. That's not it. What makes you rich is your ability to earn, balancing it with your ability to manage, setting aside a portion of your income into an investment vehicle that generates more money from you. If you're not able to create that cycle, or if your mindset is that I'm okay by earning, then you're wrong. Your mindset is wrong and you can't succeed like that. I'm still going to share some of my personal story with us as we go. Number 3 is you fall for scams or risky investment schemes a lot. If you fell for MMM, say I. What about CBEX, the latest one? Say I. So, Sahid, thank you for your honesty. I like that. So that mindset will not get us wealthy. It will not get us wealthy. I'm telling you the truth. I don't know if about you. I was on TV a lot for this CBEX thing, because MTA, everybody, they just wanted to talk about it because it's becoming worrisome that year in, year out, there's always a new scam and people still fall for it. Interestingly, it's the same, sometimes it's the same set of people. They fell for MMM and all the like Swiss Golden and everything else, and now Sickbest came and they still fell for it. That tells me something. I emphasized it on the show a lot, and I tell them, look, it has nothing to do with the action. It has everything to do with the mindset. Those people falling just think that somehow I will just blow. Let me just hit it. I will just make it. This is my opportunity. They just have this mindset that if that major, that miraculous, let me use that word, miraculous or magical thing does not happen, I can't really achieve the level of financial success that I want to achieve. But that's not true. Wealth is built consistently over time. Anybody you see that is wealthy today have had to deny themselves a lot of things to get to where they are. So if you have a get rich quick mindset, let me just, let me just hit it big, let me just do this, your mindset about wealth is wrong. Perhaps that's the reason you still don't have money today, because all you needed to do was to get advice and create a simple system that a portion of your income is going into, and give yourself a long-term perspective. Because what happens with that mindset is, get rich quick, is you have a short-term mindset to wealth. It's also the reason why people think the stock market is not a good place to make money, because they want to put their money today and then it should blow like 100% in a year. But when what we actually call high risk is long-term. And if this set of people falling for these CBEX and all of them, these scams, were people that had a long-term perspective, or people that are financially smart to know that I should have a secure basket before taking such risks, I would have been okay. There are people who don't have money. That's why you will never see a likely somebody who is wealthy do such things, because they know the route, they know the process, they understand what it should be. So we need to be very careful with that desire and greed that is in us that makes us think that I can get rich quickly. The next one is you spend emotionally. This happens to us ladies more. Shopping just makes you feel better. Shopping makes you feel like you belong. You just want to maintain a class. You want to impress. I'll share with you and these things are real, because they end up coming to me somehow. A lady came to me 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, 2 years ago. And she came to tell me how she entered into financial mess. I'm talking about a big lady that when you see, you want to copy. The kind of people we like, that we just feel like, she's living large. This is the kind of life I want. Many times they are living large on credit. Many times they are living large in financial mess. Online, she saw her friend change her car. They always have a circle, they have a clique. And then she just thought, you know what? Let me upgrade, let me top her. I'm going to prove to them that I'm bigger. So she decided to sell her current car, get a loan from a company, and add the money together to buy a better car so she could beat that her friend. She told me, she said, I just wanted to prove something to them on social media. I'm thinking, social media. And then now you're in a so social media, many times we don't know it's not real life. Now, her reality is that she was in a mess, but on social media, she looked large. In fact, she eventually couldn't even achieve any of it, because the money that she got for the car she sold and the one she borrowed, when you are emotional, she just decided that, in fact, before I even buy the car, let me take a vacation. I'll just do 3 days in Paris and come back, maybe do London, Paris, and then I'll come back. She ended up in those cities and expended all the money, plus the one she got from her car sale and the one she borrowed. She spent everything on shopping, and then came back, and she needed to start paying the loan back. She had to start selling her business materials, everything that she used to do business. And that's how she kept going down. And all I want to be a big girl, I need to pepper them, ended just like that. In fact, as we speak, she's just recovering, because her entire business, and this is a lady that has a great fashion line that was doing very well. She made clothes for the top people in Abuja and all of that. But because of comparison, one thing I tell people is, when you compare yourself, you will compete. And when you compete, you will spend money that you're not supposed to spend. In fact, money you don't have, you will spend it. So we must ensure that we're not emotional people and all of that. There's another person, and this doesn't have to do with people who don't have money alone. This lady was doing very comfortable. She can actually, she makes clothes for you. It's like 2 million. She wasn't a small girl. Now, there's another man, and I'm not giving examples of poor people, to tell you how emotional spending is dangerous. He's a honorable member that as at the last time, had been in the House of Assembly in Abuja for 4 terms. And then he lived in a compound with my colleague. That my colleague, her husband works in a very good office and they pay them very well. It's an international organization. So he earned a lot of money and could do some things for the family. He can decide to change the car or something. And they were neighbors. So, when that happens, I mean, you can't bring a car and your neighbor will not see it. So they will check it. But they just noticed one day, she just noticed one day that the moment they buy that a particular type of car or change maybe the furniture at home, the guy will do the same thing. After like a week, he will just do the same thing. And then they just notice that everything they buy, when they change a car, you will go and buy the latest version. And, and so she noticed, so because of that, they didn't tell him anything anymore or share anything with him. But this is a honorable member. Guess what? We found out later that he was buying all those things on credit. He didn't pay the owners. Honorable member who was in the House of Assembly, yet shopping emotionally and spending emotionally until he was in a messy situation. He had to start paying down by looking for money. So we need to be careful with emotional spending. Don't let social media determine the things you do. Sometimes the people you see post all those things, they may be your friends and all of that. They travel in economy, they go to business class, take picture and post it, and you in real life, you want to faint. Let's not compare ourselves. If you have that kind of mindset, you're not ready to build wealth. Number 2 is how to, you earn it all and spend it all. The YOLO people, you only live once. Let's just enjoy this life. You only live once, but that's not true. You actually live daily. So if you see successful people, they say success is a cumulative result of what you do daily. So your life is lived daily. So you want to make sure that you're making wise decisions. Why? Because even failure is a cumulative result or outcome of what you do daily. So if you're not making wise financial decisions, you can end in the wrong place. If you're making wise financial decisions, you will end in the right place. So it's important that we're careful our choices daily. Another thing I want to talk about mindset is you avoid budgeting because you just in your mind, I beg, let's just spend this money. How much is the money safe? In my head now, I don't plan now. This is how I will spend it. No, 50K will go here, 20K will go here, 100K will go here. And you feel like, my 200K has finished. But that's not true. You know that before the next salary day, you don't have money again. You are looking for transportation. You are needing help for feeding. Some people don't even know that they are supposed to make provision on their budget to cover their monthly expenses, like feeding, like transportation. That's what the budget helps you to do. It doesn't stifle you. I don't know why people think the budget is dead just so that I don't spend, while in fact, the budget is a tool for spending. What it only ensures that you do is that you prioritize the things that are important. So you when you make your budget, you start with things like, oh, you're paying yourself first, your savings and investment before you go to needs. Most people spend invest to save what is left after spending, while the right order, when you get a budget template from any financial coach or a planner, the right order is for you to spend what is left after savings and investments. So everything is warped upside down because it starts from the mind. You just think, no, I don't need a budget. That thing is too stressful, but it's not. It's a habit of the rich. That's why they are where they are. So if you want to be where they are, you also need to do what they do. So it's important that we have the right mindset about money. The next point I want to make, remember we're talking about things that when you see around you, you know that, this mindset will not get me rich. I need to change it. Signs that your money mindset needs to be transformed. The next point is you avoid financial planning. You avoid it. You're waiting for that big break. You just feel like this monthly income is not what will get me there. So I need to have a major break that will now be the platform on top of which I will write. But I tell you the truth, if a major break hits your life right now with this mindset you have, you're not going to be richer. Instead, you will spend it all again. The same pattern will repeat itself. I mentioned that earlier. So we need to embrace financial planning. I'll still speak to that. You expect a magical break without putting in the effort. So at the beginning of the year, for example, if I ask some of us, we created a goal. This is what I will do financially this year. By December 31st, this is what I have. You created all that goal. But you created it with the mindset that one miracle will just break out in my life and then I'll just be able to achieve it. You didn't create it with the mindset that I have to start with what I have in my hand. So you didn't work at it. You just expected magic. Well, interestingly, I don't know why we always have these webinars towards the end of the year, maybe because people are thinking about their year. But I recommend that these webinars should also start at the beginning of the year and maybe towards the end of the year. So like this, so people also can plan for a better year ahead of them. Because the truth is, there is no magic waiting for you in 2026 that you don't have to create right now yourself. No magic. Check it out. In the last 5 years, you've been waiting for that magic. It has not come. That's because your mindset about making money is wrong. There's a positioning you must have, a disposition that with what I have, I will work towards it. Now, when you set your financial goals or any goal like that, it should stretch you. It should not be within your comfort zone, but you must start from what you earn to achieve it. Guess what? When you start to work out these principles of finance, you will have more money that year. You can try. Just tell yourself now, I've messed up this year. I may not be able to achieve much, but create your plan for 2026 and tell yourself what you will do to achieve it with what you currently earn. You're likely to get promoted in 2026. You're likely not to have some negative things happen to your money because money is currency. It flows towards you or away from you based on usage. How you use money will determine whether you will have or attract more of it. The moment you organize, I've worked with people who earn big, and I've seen this principle work. When COVID hits, they were the ones that didn't lose their jobs. When they take maybe like an MBA or they stretch their finances to achieve a goal, they end up achieving it. They are likely also not to spend their emergency fund because money just keeps coming to them because they organized. Money doesn't like it when you are not in control. Money is a very bad master to have. Let me put it that way. You need to be in charge. The simplest thing you can do to be in charge is have a goal and work out a budget towards that goal and stick with it. And those are some of the mindset. I may not be able to cover all of them, but those are some of the mindset that we cannot afford to have if we want to achieve financial success. Now, let's quickly look at unhealthy financial habits because we're going to cultivate new habits. But I like to start from showing us what we're getting wrong so that it's easy. I mean, by the time I run through this, for example, you already know the things you shouldn't do, those habits that you need to cultivate, and then I'll share with us how to cultivate it before we go into the question and answer. So unhealthy financial habits that spring up from these wrong money mindsets that we talked about. What are the things that we do because we have the wrong money mindset? Number one, on the top of the list, especially I have a passion for employees because I was one myself. And I understand how that you can, employees just have this mindset that it is my boss that is my problem. It is my organization that is the issue. We never take responsibility for the things that we see in our lives. The question I always ask people is, did your boss pay you what they said they will pay? They say yes. Are they able to at least every month consistently? Now, if they don't pay you consistently, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you work in a place and they've paid you consistently. Many employees don't realize that they have something that is their superpower, and it is the consistency of your income. I'm a business person as well, so I think God gave me the opportunity to be on both sides so I could balance things out. It's so funny when I see some posts online and I'm thinking you need to be a business person before you can speak like this. I can't even listen to you if you're just an employee and wants to talk about the business space. You don't have the authority to speak about it. So I'm privileged to have been on both sides of the divide, and I can tell you for a fact that what may take a business 5 years to achieve, which is profitability, an employee has the opportunity to achieve it monthly, if only they just add financial discipline to it. You resume a job, and after 30 days, you get a paycheck. Most businesses don't get their first paycheck until months or years after. The owner of the business may not have paid himself or herself for years. The business may not be profitable yet. And I understand the aspect of, oh, the business is building credibility and all of that. But what I found out that even an employee, if both of us start at the same level, an employee with a good salary and a business person with a struggling business or a startup, at the end of the day, none should be disadvantaged if they apply the right principle. It does not matter. I always ask people, it does not matter. Tell people that it doesn't matter the source of the income. What matters is what we do with the income that comes. Because all that matters is your ability to earn and your ability to manage. So it doesn't matter whether you're an employee or a business person. As long as you're able to create income, you have opportunity to create wealth. Forget how you made the money, whether as a business person or employee. In 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, both of you can meet in the first class cabin. If you apply the right principles, you will not feel inferior. You won't feel like, no. For example, some people feel like they're not promoting them at work. I tell them, no. I recommend, at the risk of sounding like I want to advertise, I recommend you read my book, Employed and Rich. If you're an employee here, and if you're a business person, you need to get that book for your staff so their mindset can be right. So you just complain that, they are not promoting me at work, they are limiting me. Maybe the company doesn't have the resources to promote you and pay at that level. So because they can't do that, you will stay stuck on a level. I've worked in the bank before, and I found out that I entered with people and they got double promotion and I didn't get. I'm not stupid to think that they just have long leg or anything. I checked the results. They're doing better than me. They bring in businesses. They go to any length to bring the business. The bank doesn't know how they got it, but once the result is in, commensurate to your results, they reward you. No cheating, no favoritism to it. How you work will determine how much you earn. I don't know if you know this, but money comes with value. That increase, that's more money you want. It's not going to come because you're chasing more money or working 3 jobs. It's going to come because you create more value. So in that office, are you the kind of employee that once they tell you about something that is not related to your primary assignment, you say, no, it's not my job. No, it's not possible. Some people are impossibility specialists. They just keep making excuses and complaining about, oh, no, it won't work. I want you to position to be somebody that is valuable. You tell yourself that, do you know that something as simple as I don't leave the office before my boss changes everything? I remember a particular lady, she owns an NGO, major NGO, getting funding from UN. And then she just said, she was sharing the experience and said there was a particular youth couple who came to serve with them. And she just noticed that every time she's leaving the office, because she always closed late, our office was very close to the house. And because of this volume of this project they were handling at the time, she just couldn't leave the office at, all this 9 to 5 kind of system. So she will stay back to do the work after everybody else has left. But every time she's going, she just noticed that that youth corps member was there and will only leave after she has left. What else would they do? After the NYC, she just retained him. No job. Maybe you're not giving the most value. Either you achieve, my boss used to tell me in the bank then, and I always felt it was odd, but I didn't know they were right. Said, if you like, even though there's a limit to that, if you like, she will say, Toyin, if you like, don't greet me, just bring money. Just bring, because I was in marketing and it has to do with results. So just bring results. Don't even greet me. In fact, come to the office anytime you like, but let me be looking at your figures and seeing it in billions. I'm good. And she has a point. Your employer is in business to make profits. It is the people delivering the profits to them that they value. Some of us, they want to promote us. They can't even think of us because of our work attitude. And this is the first principle to financial success, mindset that you must have. So one of the first unhealthy financial habits that I see people do is that they live paycheck to paycheck. You cannot afford for the next salary not to come. There will be war. I remember when he was in the bank, If the bank delayed, they used to pay us every 24th of the month. If the bank delayed for one day, the whole bank is upside down. That's how I know the bankers are not rich, they're broke. Like the whole bank is upside down. We had this internal system to chat. You will just be chatting with your friend across branches all over the nation. Say, what did they happen now? Especially of head office people. We need to reach out to them and say, please, what did they happen now? Jim know they smile. Jimovia was the MD at the time. Jim know they smile. What happened? Anything happened? We wanted information because a day meant I can't go back home. Some people will borrow into the next salary. Transportation will not be complete. Feeding will not be complete. Some people can't even eat. They always lean towards the end of the month. And I'm thinking, what is going on? Those were things I started to observe that made me to step out to address them. Look, your feeding and transportation or any basic bill should be planned for from your income. And it should cover the month. You know what happens is you don't make a budget. So you just spend as it comes. And then you're expecting some magic to happen when it comes to your month. 2 weeks down into salary, the money is finished. But this is what you should do. This is what actually should be happening to you if your mindset about money is right. Money should meet money in your account. The new salary should meet balance in your account. It should meet. You may have invested it, but you're taking portions and adding to your investment from time to time. That's what should happen. You shouldn't live from paycheck to paycheck. You need to create systems that allows you to always have money. And if you check, you have colleagues like that. Every time you want to borrow money, they always have. Have you asked, why am I the one borrowing? And they always have money. It's because they do some things right. They don't spend it all. They are disciplined people. So you always meet money in their hand. That's what you want to be, not the other way around. Number 2, unhealthy financial habit is to spend more than you earn. And honestly, I can speak on this one and just call it a day. Because simply what it means to spend more than you earn is to get into debt. Trust me. If you go and check my sessions over the years, I've always been a proponent of live debt-free, because being debt-free means freedom indeed. All this quick loan system that is brewing and becoming a thing in today's world is, and I'm a fellow of the Institute of Credit Administration, but the word is administration. When you want to take credit or you want to do business on credit, at what point are you doing that? Because people think that, oh, I should take loan to start a business. Go and listen to any wealthy person. They will never advise it. We recently had a conference in church, and Mr. Cosmos Maduka was there to speak to it. Somebody asked that question, should I take money to start business? And he said, no, because it doesn't make sense. Have you tested? Have you checked? Some people don't. For example, there's a lady that reached out to me after COVID. What happened was, during COVID, she lost her job. And from week 2, she had to start borrowing money from quick loan companies because she couldn't survive for a bit. Now, people will see her situation and say, yeah, sorry, this COVID did everybody something. But she was working for like 5 years before that time. What was she doing with her money? She couldn't handle an emergency of 6 months. And we think that is something worthy of celebration. No, it's not. It's so wrong. And as an employee, if you have an income, you should have a 6-month emergency fund built up over your working lifetime, consistently there. So, because when you are organized financially, you're not likely to experience some of the woes that people who don't have financial. Because you see, the thing with money is, let me ask you this, or give you this food for thought. Have you noticed that since they started borrowing, you had to continue borrowing? Because money is currency. It flows towards you or away from you based on how you use it. Once you get on the negative side, that pattern is likely to continue except you do something drastic to reverse it. So it's important for us to know that we cannot spend more than we earn. You see this quick loan system, I feel like saying my brothers and sisters. It is not designed to make you rich. It is designed to make you poor. Why do I say that? And I've talked to you, but let me talk about it here. There's something called a principle of money that is called delayed gratification. It's a principle for building wealth any day, anytime, right? Your fathers used it, your father's fathers used it, and those who will come after you will have to use it. It doesn't change. It's a principle. When they say principle, it's a law of wealth. So nobody comes in their own generation to change it because we are in 21st century. No, it has been. I also recommend you read The Richest Man in Babylon. One of the best books you can read if you struggle to save money here is The Richest Man in Babylon. Very, very, very good book. So if you have that attitude that, oh, is a 21st century, principles have changed. No, principles don't change. Methods can change, but the foundational principle for wealth building don't change. You will still have to save, you will still have to invest. To get these riches and wealth, you must apply the principles. And one that is very fundamental, in fact, is the reason we don't save and invest, is delayed gratification. That ability, delayed gratification, is from the law of time perspective. If you read some brand tracing materials, you will see it there. You see, the names I'm calling are not people that have theoretical results. They are people with good results. And that law of time perspective says that successful people are those who take the longest time perspective to things, anything, longest time perspective. They are not looking at now. They are looking at the long term. They have discipline. That's the root of discipline, delayed gratification. If somebody comes today and gives you and I $10 million, and you go ahead to travel the world, or I go ahead to travel the world and have vacation and enjoy my life, and you only live once kind of syndrome, and you go ahead to invest your money in something, I'm carrying all the lovely bags and showing it off on social media right now. But you are a bit disciplined, so you don't get anything to show. In fact, people don't deal with you because they are thinking, stingy man. He doesn't like to spend money. Stingy person. He doesn't like to do this. Right now, I'm enjoying all the glory and the attention and everything, but you don't have that. But in 5 years' time, you'll be richer than me because you've only learned to delay gratification. If you look at the keyword is delay, it's not that you won't still gratify those desires, but it's just that you are delaying it till 5 years time. Just think about it. How do you spend your capital and expect to have the profit in the future? That's why they say rich people spend the grandchild of their money, while poor people spend even the capital, they squander it. When you kill the mother, how do you have a child? So they give you 10 million and you spend it. That's the end of it. But you can take that 10 million and invest it. It will take you maybe the next 5 years to see enough results for you to now launch like me. But it's always delayed gratification is a principle that separates the rich from the poor and that we must embrace. Now, what am I saying? If a system then comes and tells you you don't need to delay that gratification, you can enjoy it now, buy the phone now, get married. Some people have their weddings on credit. They use loans for weddings. Some people furnish their homes on credit. They do that. Is common. I know the story of a guy that immediately they got married, the wife said, this generator you have is too small. So they went to buy generator on credit, changed everything on credit, and before long, the marriage was already shaking. There's another story of a couple that the money they used for the wedding, the loan they used for the wedding, they had not finished paying it when the marriage was breaking. And then they want me to come and tell them who we paid the loan. I'm like, I'm not going to be part of this one. It's not that's no longer a professional thing. What you should have done was to ask me if you should have gotten a loan in the first place for your wedding, and I would have told you no. So we need to be very, very careful with this loan system. Let me issue a disclaimer. I know about credit. I know that there has to be a balance in the economy. But when you begin to use credit for what we call lifestyle, you are wrong. You will never be wealthy that way. You can use credit for business. And the best time to take credit for business is when business is good, not when your business is about to die and you need somebody to salvage it. That's when credit becomes leverage. Don't take loans to buy a car. Don't take loans to buy a house. And please don't come and ask me what if I use the loan to buy a car for Airbnb, what do you call it, for Uber and the likes. Don't come and ask me. Just don't take loan to do a car. Don't take loans for clothes. Don't buy things on credit. Save whatever you've not saved up for, you don't deserve it yet. Tell yourself that. If I can't save up for the shoe, I don't deserve it yet. Until I'm able to save up for it, that's when I deserve it. So we need to ensure that we're very careful with spending, not spending more than we earn. The key to wealth, there's a law called the law of Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law of economics. A corollary to the law is that expenses will rise to meet income. So there will be no time where you won't have expenses that you think you should meet. Always there will be. It's like the grave is never satisfied and said, don't bury people here again. The grave, there will always be land to bury people and it will always take them. That appetite can never be satisfied. You need to just ensure that you break. That law of Parkinson is one law of money that you need to break. You must make sure that your expense don't rise to meet your income. You must make sure that you build your emergency fund because that's what will stop you from getting loans. The reason is a lot of people just think, so as a banker at the time, I remember that some of the SAs and PAs of these honorable members, in January, because of school fees payment, they always rush the bank. And they will be angrily telling you that, but this is what my bank is for now, to give me loan when I need it. And in my mind, I'm thinking, no, sir. The school fees is something that gave you notice. It's not an emergency, so don't harass us with pressure. In my mind, I don't tell them, but I'm thinking that's a warped mindset. No wonder they're always in lack. Because all year you earned money, you didn't think you should save your children's school fees. You think you would take it by loan. Emergencies are meant to be catered to. That's why we call them emergencies. You don't know when they will happen, but you know they could come up, and I need to prepare for them. So you are setting aside a portion of your income for that. Recommended is 3 to 6 months of your cost of living. Your cost of living is what you need to survive in the worst situation. Maybe you lose your job. How minimal can you live and be fine for the next 6 months before you secure another job? That amount times 3 or times 6 is what is recommended. I always recommend times 6 because COVID lasted for almost 6 months before things balanced out. So, but people don't realize that that's what they need to do so that when there's an emergency, that's the money they use, not to borrow. So because the tendency is there to think it's an emergency now. I didn't know it will happen. Like it's like your wife got pregnant and you didn't plan for it because you had 9 months. Anything that gives you notice that I'm going to happen is not an emergency. It's a need that you need to prepare for. Or it could be a want as well, maybe like birthday, your wife's birthday. You don't need to borrow for things like that. So we need to discipline ourselves. That's an unhealthy habit when you have to spend all that you earn. Number 3 is relying on debt to fund lifestyle choices. I already mentioned that, but you want to do any project, you just in your mind, because the those loans are so easy to come by now. I remember a lady coming to meet me for a session, and on her way, she just decided to apply for loan. In the same Abuja town, the journey was not between states, it was in the city. And before she got to the office, they credited her the loan. That's how fast the thing happens now. It's a wise person or somebody who has the mindset for wealth will make sure that those things don't control them. They are in charge of that. You need to really be careful. See, when you get into debt, it's like taking 10 steps forward and 20 or 30 steps backwards. It doesn't make you progress. It doesn't make you advance. It just pulls you back. And then your dreams are not realized. When I worked in the bank, I was in a lot of debt. I furnished my house on credit. My first car was 50% on credit. Almost my entire lifestyle, I had a lot of loans. I piled things up every time. And you guys, let me tell you something. Once you're an employee, you're a target for the person selling clothes, for the person selling shoe, because they know that your income is consistent. So they'll tell you, don't worry, we'll spread it for you for 12 months. We'll spread it for you for 6 months. So I will take everything. I didn't used to buy a pair of shoes. I'll buy 5 pairs of shoes. I didn't buy suits in common places. I bought expensive things that will stand out. I remember as an entry level, I would tell my senior colleague at the time. She was my unit head. When I joined, they just assigned me to her, and she dressed very well. I just wanted to look like her. So I would tell her to buy me suits. And she'll say, Toyin, my suits are expensive. I'll say, yes, ma'am. And she will buy it for me on credit and tell me, don't worry, be paying me little by little. She wasn't good in that. That mentorship was wrong in the first place. She should have corrected me. Yes, so don't do that to anybody who is your mentee. And I'll buy those suits on credit. My salary was 90,000. I was wearing a suit, 60,000. And I will spread it for months. So the same way I'll buy shoes, the same way I bought the car, the same way I furnished the house, everything on credit. So I had piles of checks that I had to pay per time. I each every month, I take your check now. Oh, you wait small next month. You do. That was my primary assignment. Why? Just because I didn't plan. I wasn't disciplined. I didn't delay gratification. It's very easy for us to fall into those things. So we need to be very careful not to rely on debt to fund our lifestyle choices. It's better for you to be minimal and then later you enjoy, because the whole idea is for you to be able to live well in the future. A particular guy always on my session. So I have like some people that are in my sessions and they book those sessions. And he reached out recently and told me, oh, this money that I was building up that time, I've had to spend it because of this. And I said, that's the whole idea. You were putting it together all these years so you can spend it, not so you can die. So it is so you can spend it. It's just that if you didn't discipline yourself to save it all those years, you can't spend it now, and you would have needed money still. So you would have been in a mess. You probably would have had to borrow. So when we tell you to save or invest or to be disciplined, it's not to kill you, it's to make you enjoy in future and prepare for things that could happen. Please, are we together? Just leave me an emoji.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. All right. So the next thing is to ignore your financial reports. Whether you're in business, your financial statements, or you're an individual, you don't like to budget, you don't like to look at the figures. You don't, even you know that it's so bad, you don't want to look at the way the money has gone. But I dare you to do it. It's one of the healthiest habits for money that you can cultivate. Review things. Let me tell you something. Have you ever thought about why businesses have financial reports? Why the government would even require them to declare their finances or their financial statements? Why for their investors, they are required to provide a financial report of what they've been able to achieve and all of that. Have you ever thought about it? It's because what you don't measure, you can't improve on it. If you don't learn to track, if you don't learn to monitor spending, you don't know where your money is going. You're not even ready to begin at all. You must be able to know what percentage of your income is being invested, what percentage is going to food. Do you know that in my whole coaching experience, food is one of the areas where people waste money the most? They just sometimes you stock the house and still eat out throughout the month. So there are just areas where you're making wrong financial decisions. That money could have gone to some investment. You could have grown your savings with it or something. So we need to be very, very conscious of where our money goes. I'll give you an example. It may seem small, but I'm sure it will help somebody here. At some point, I sat down to review my finances and I saw that I was spending a lot on recharge cards. Now, the amount may not be this issue, but the fact that I could see where a chunk of my money went there was the main thing. And I didn't know that until I sat down to review. And so after the review, excuse me, I just mentioned it to my husband that this amount I'm spending on recharge card is too much. It was a lot. And then he said, why don't you do some of the packages on I use MTN line. On your MTN line, they have some packages that you do this, they give you more money and blah, 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 blah. And I started to do that. And I noticed that I could cut my expenses on recharge card in half just from that. If I didn't review, I would not see the problem and I will not be able to get a solution. So don't run from financial statements, don't run from budgeting and reviewing, that which is called tracking. You need to do those things. It's a habit of the rich. You cannot afford not to. It's like not knowing where your money is going and you expect to grow. It won't happen. So we need to take time to review. Impulse buying without planning. Impulse buying without planning. So okay, so I'll take that question when we get there. Impulse buying without planning. You just buy one, get one free. We think we're saving 50%, but what you're doing is you are spending 50% of money you didn't budget to spend. So because it's on sale doesn't mean you're saving money, except it's an item that you've planned to buy and you've put money together for, then it becomes savings. But if it's something that was not on the plan and you just saw it on sales, you didn't save 50%, you spent 50%. So we need to be careful of impulse buying. Avoid shopping malls if that is the problem. Go once a month. Avoid those places. For some of us, we may need to do some drastic things like that until we cultivate the habit. I used to be like that. For example, when I noticed my money problems as a banker and I was going to correct things, I automated everything. My savings was automated and everything was automated so that I could do it. But right now, I don't need to automate. I can be looking at the money like this, we'll be smiling at ourselves and I will not touch it because I built discipline. So it's important for us to be careful with impulsive buying and all of that. Another, I've already spoken to this, indulging in comparison. Please avoid it. If you compare yourself, it starts with lack of contentment. And then you compare. You're not content, you will compare, and then you will compete. There are like 3 C's. If you're not content, you will compare, and then you will compete. And to compete, you will spend money that you don't have. Now, let me tell you something about this comparison thing. When I started to compare myself with my senior colleague, that's when I wanted what she had. I wanted to look like her. But I didn't count the cost of looking like her. In my head, I just thought she lived on salary. But I was foolish because when I found out later, she didn't just live on salary. Her husband was a House of Rep member for the 5th time, as at that time, which is like 15 years. House of Representative. So she wasn't a small lady. For God's sake, entry-level staff and senior manager or assistant manager, AM. What is the comparison? There's no basis at all. And why you may think, oh, okay, she's just living on salary. Her husband was very rich. So he bought her those things. What's the basis for the comparison? There was no basis. But that's what comparison will do to you. When you are not content, you will compare and then you will compete. And that always makes you spend money that you don't have. So let's avoid it. Also, I've talked about tracking. You must monitor where your money goes. You must monitor it. You must monitor it. It's a habit of the rich. Saving without purpose is another major one. And so every time people ask me, I'm just not able to save. Maybe because you're saving without a goal. Yes, I've done it before where I just said, you know what, I want to save 2 million. I saved the 2 million in 5 months and I spent it in 2 weeks. So it's not just enough for you to save. What's the goal? Why are you saving? I'm saving for masters. I'm saving to invest it here. Have a goal and tell yourself this, I'm going to discipline myself to do this. And you see, the discipline you desire will come from what you're working towards. It's like a father who wants his child to go to Harvard. There's a way he will operate. He will be very deliberate to put money aside. He will go and find out how much it will cost and start to work harder or make more money or save more just so he could send that child to Harvard. Is it a goal that you are driven towards, passionate about? That's why it's important to write down your goals. You must tell yourself where you want to be in 5 years' time. And then take that goal and translate it to 1 year and translate it to every month or every week, depending on how you earn. But you see, there has to be something you're working towards. Otherwise, savings will become like a big deal. When you have something driving you, you will not struggle to save. You even want to see how you can save much more. So I recommend have a percentage that you tell yourself that, you know what, if we don't spend this amount, we're not going to die. And you know that nothing will go wrong. You've experienced it where your salary was 200K and you survived, and now your salary is 500K, and it looks like, it's not easy. Because there will never be a time where you won't have expense. So you need to be deliberate. Every increment I get, I will save it or invest it. I will not spend more than 40% of my salary every month. The rest 60% will go here. And I had a colleague that did it in the bank. We were the same level of income, but our mindset about money was different. And what helped him was that he had a goal. He told himself, in 10 years, I will have my own house, estate, something that will be bringing me money. And it was his goal. So he didn't eat where we ate. He will go with the drivers to eat where they eat. We will go to the major places and go and eat and be feeling big bankers, broke every time. No money. They were eating, living large. He will go, sometimes he will bring his food from home. He didn't drive a car. His children didn't go to the best of schools at the time, but they were in a good place. Until in 10 years, actually, he built an estate with 12 units of 3-bedroom apartments and a duplex for his family in the heart of town, from the same job that some of us felt like the money was not enough. So many times, two people can be in the same condition and have the same experience, but their outcome will be different. Why? Mindset. That's why this mindset thing is very major. He achieved that in 10 years. But what some of us achieved in 10 years was to be in debt and be messed up and be. Do you know, immediately I paid down all my debts as a banker. That was the first time that I could travel out. I traveled to 2 countries in 1 year. That was the first time that I could save 30% of my income. Things started to happen. I started to live my dreams because I organized financially. So not being organized financially has more disadvantage than the advantages we think we see. You may enjoy things in the temporal, but futuristically, you won't see much results. So save with a purpose, have a goal. Do you want to have your own estate? Do you want to be, for example, your goal could be that my net worth will be, because you know what, net worth is the yardstick. And the goal of your net worth is that it should increase every year. So at the end of this year, would you say that you're richer than last year? If you can't say that, you've not done something right. What do I mean? If your annual package is, say, 20 million as a last year, and it's the same this year, but as a last year, from the 20 million, you retained nothing. The only way you can say that you have grown financially or your net worth has improved this year is that from that 20 million, you have retained 5 million, for example. So you lived on 15 and you retained 5 million. Now, the only way you can say you're growing financially is that by next year ending, you should have retained maybe another 5 million. You can maintain the same tempo or improved on your discipline enough to retain 10 million and live on 10 million. So when you look back year on year, can you say that your net worth is growing? What's your net worth? What you own minus what you owe. So if your salary is, some people every year they enter negative net worth. Every year, negative net worth. They are always owing money. You earn 20 million, but you actually spent 25 million. That's been in fact, it's the yardstick for financial health or unhealthiness. You are not financially healthy if your net worth doesn't grow year on year. Let me give you an example. For you to grow your net worth, even in business, you have sales minus expenses to give you the gross profit, right? There are 3 points there. The sales, which is the income, revenue, the expenses, that which is the running costs, and then the outcome is gross profit. Now, is it that you increase sales, maintain expenses the way they are for you to grow profits? If sales is 100 million, expense is 80 million, gross profit will be 100 minus 80, which is 20 million, right? Next year or at the end of the new year, the only way you can say you've grown is that you either grow sales to maybe 150 million, maintain expenses at 80, and that will give you 50 as profit. So gross profit 20 million last year, this year 50 million. But what did you do? You didn't necessarily reduce what do you call it, expenses. What you just focused on was to grow sales. That's the way. Growing sales sometimes is the hardest part because there's competition in the market. There's also a case where your employer may not be able to, may not be able to increase your salary if you're an employee. So you have the same income. It's always the hardest part. The part where you have control is the expenses. So imagine that 100 million sales stays the same. It didn't grow, but as you were able to reduce expense from 80 million to 60, what happens to your gross profit? It will increase because it will now be 100 minus 60, which is 40, as against 100 minus 20, which is minus 80, which is 20. So keeping expenses low through discipline and self. That's why in accounting they say if profit is not growing, expenses must drop, because as a business or an individual, each year there must be increase. That's the only way you know you are succeeding. So those two items, income and expense, must be within your control. If you can increase your salary, please go for it. It depends majorly on how much value you're adding at work. If they don't see you as valuable, you're easily let go. Have you thought about it? Why do they pay a gate man lesser than an accountant? The value, the perceived value. It is perceived that an accountant is more valuable to the organization than the gate man, because you can easily replace the gate man, but you can't easily replace the accountant because they've added value to themselves such a way that they are more valuable to the organization. So people pay based on value. That's my point. Nobody feels threatened when a gate man says, I'm resigning. But when your accountant says, I'm leaving, it can shake the organization because of the value they provide. So we need to know how to, so as an employee, for you to grow your income, you must be very valuable, but that can be hard. That can take some years before you get that certification, before you embrace that work ethic, before you reach it, it can be some time. So where we have control is on our expenses, and we do everything within our powers to put it down. So every year, reduce your expenses while you also focus on growing income. That's the only way your net worth will grow year on year, because that's the true metric for actually ascertaining whether you're financially healthy or not. That's how we know this year have I grown. So what the rich people do is their asset column minus liability. They keep raising asset column beyond liability, so they can have debts. That's why some people think rich people are using loans to get rich. No, what they are smart to do is that they make sure their asset column is more than what they owe, so that when you do the minus, they're richer for it. So investing without knowledge is not good. Investigate before investing. That's the first rule to investment. You must investigate, understand it. Don't investigate from the person selling you the investment. They will always tell you only good things. So find a different way to make sure you know what this investment is about. There's no investment without risks, but you can minimize it or mitigate risk. I don't know if you're in the banking sector and you've written any credits, but I did that a lot. What we do, there's no credit without risks. So what they expect us when I'm submitting the credit to credit committee is to tell them how I intend to mitigate any risk in case it crystallizes. So the risk of maybe the first C is always character of the customer. So they want you to tell them about the customer. How well do you know the customer? Based on character, you can give people a loan. So many times people think my bank is not supporting me. No, they've ascertained the level of risks, and they know that you may not be able to pay back and on all of that. So it's important we invest in knowledge before investing. Investigate properly. I'll give you a story. A particular man who works in a major organization, in fact, is a very top person, is always very effective. So he called me and said, I need you to help me investigate a particular, I want to buy land somewhere in Lagos, and I want you to investigate it. I don't just want to do agents. You know, agents, they just want to sell, make commission. They don't care really about the customer. So I had to be the go-between, and we went to Lagos. I checked the land. I did everything that I could do. And we were actually verifying every document, checked out. We checked the registry, we asked for all the IDs of everybody, because the land is a community land. So all the persons involved, we asked the executors, we asked for their documents, we got everything, their license. So it was just for us to finalize. There was a particular person amongst them who is a king. Maybe he still is, I don't know, but at the time he was a king in a village somewhere in Abeokuta, and they said he doesn't come out. Kings won't come to you. You have to go to them. So I said, no problem. I told the customer. He said, why not? Let's go. And then we were scheduled to go to the place the next day. And the agent who I was working with, I told him, I said, look, we will make money eventually if this customer buys, but let's not put money first. So I want you to work with me so that we get the right land for the person. As against land that you will buy and sell to someone and it will hook you in 2 years' time. So he was now on the same page with me. You know how Lagos people can be. They are gra. If you want to buy now. Or plenty people want to buy the land. Blah, blah, blah. It was just, I told them, I said, look, you cannot pressurize me. If you pressurize me too much, I will even shut down, because that's my job in the whole assignment. So I told the agent clearly. So he calmed down. So he said he was in his house one day. Of course, the day before me, I'm not somebody, I don't want to be in trouble financially. So I prayed, I said, Lord, if there's anything wrong with this land, help me. And then the agent just said that money, we had already even paid the remaining family in Lagos, that for their transportation. They were to charter a car and head to Abeokuta, while the agent and I will come in another car, and we will meet that man just to see him, see his ID. And while we're there, the customer will wire the money. I will leave with the documents and everything. It just felt like he should go to the land by himself this time, without a surveyor, without anybody. Let me just go to that land and check again. He got there and saw a woman, which I believe was an angel, sitting around the place, and he just thought to speak to her. And the woman said, don't try it, oh. This one will not be. In fact, it was the woman that sent him a link of the dispute on the land. You will never find it in the registry. That's the power of investigation. You will not find that in the Aegis or Lagos registry. Everything checked out. But there was a huge dispute. In fact, that land, several people were on it. Like, I've bought it. They had bought it several. That's how God saved us from that transaction. Just because we investigated. So when it comes to an investment, the first key is to investigate before investing. So don't invest without knowledge. Giving emotionally without boundaries. My mother, my father, my village people. Black tax. That's the problem. We need to make sure that we avoid that as well. So let's quickly look at some healthy financial habits before we move to Q&A. I'll rush through because most of them I already spoke to it. Creating and sticking to a monthly budget. You must learn to create and stick to your monthly budget. So if you are struggling initially, automate a lot of things. I tell people technology is good, depending on which side you're on. You can use it to your advantage or it can be against you. For example, you can wire money now and buy a shoe instantly from the comfort of this meeting. As we are here, you can be spending money. And the same thing, you can be investing as we are here. So same technology, it just depends on what you're using it for. So use technology to your advantage. Automate your savings. Decide the percentage based on where you are. That's why I don't recommend, say, do 20%. There's a rule, general rule, but depending on where you are financially, I mean, if you have a lot of responsibility, you may not be able to do 30% like another person. But make sure you do your 5% and you're consistent with it, because it's not about the amount, it's about the principle. So ensure that you're always in alignment with the principles that make people rich. Forget the amount. That's why when people come to me and say, we put our investment sometimes, somebody will be asking me, so on my 5,000, how much will I get? That question irritates me because I'm thinking, how much do you expect to get on 5,000, sir? Like, what kind of question is that? that like, it's just the wrong focus. Because what you will get on 5,000, even in a year, is nothing. So why do you want to? It just ask, okay, what percentage? And then what you need to focus on is to grow your own commitments. People say, all my shares that I bought in Zenith Bank is only 200 naira that they said they give me on it every year. They send me that paper like this, 200 naira on top of it. The question I ask is, how much did you invest? 100,000. But you expect the world. You expect them to credit you millions. And I tell them, look, this is another customer like you. His investment in shares is in millions. His dividend is in millions. It is garbage in, garbage out. You can't invest 5,000 and expect the world to come and be asking how much will it be. And then when you always put that question forward, by the time they calculate the amount and show you, you'll be discouraged to invest. So it's not about the amount, it's about the principle, because you're trying to build something. And this is for you, especially if you're starting from a small level. Forget the return. It doesn't mean you won't know whether it's 15% or 20%. Ask when they tell you. Don't stop telling them, okay, how much is that monthly? Because interest is not supposed to be monthly. When you hear 20%, is a per annum thing. Guess who started all this per month interest? It's the loan companies, because they want you to think the amount is small. So they tell you monthly amounts. So they can tell you it's 5% per month. You think about it, 5% per month on my 50,000 I want to collect is small. They don't want you to think for the year. If you think about it for the year, you realize that this amount I'm paying on as interest is too much. So they brought the concept of monthly interest. That didn't exist. If you check any financial principle, interest is per annum. So when I hear people ask me, if you tell them this investment is 20%, they'll be asking you, is it per month? That question shouldn't come up if you understand money. Interest is per annum. If you see anybody telling you interest per month, they want to dupe you, so you should run from them. So create and stick to a monthly budget. Use technology. I did that a lot at the beginning when I started correcting all my money errors. I just automated it so that I can't have access to it. So as my salary hits like this, they've taken it already. So that really helps me build the habit over time. For some of us, it might be that you should carry down your ATM card and use scissors to cut it. Yes, because I remember there was a savings I put in one bank like that. The account officer nearly killed me. Madam, you have to take your ATM card. I said, I don't want. She said, no, they will give me query in the office that everybody must have it. I said, I don't want. Now, at the time, instead of me to take the card, if she was going to force me and cut it, I took the card, and that was the beginning. That I just finished. That money was supposed to be a savings I didn't touch. I finished it quick, because now I had access. So whatever you need to do, and this struggle is in levels. Some people don't have an ATM card, but their leg is fast to go to the bank. I need my money. Or the internet banking app. They just go in and they want their money immediately. Wherever, depending on your financial struggle, use a technology that will help you counter that until you have built enough discipline to manage your money right. So saving consistently, small amounts, very necessary. I don't care if it's 1,000, please do it. Don't listen to all those social media people. Saving money cannot help you become rich. It's true, because you need to invest what you save, but your savings is seed. Have you seen a farmer that wants to harvest without planting some seeds? Your savings is seeds that you need for the harvest that you desire. You save the seed, you plant it, which is investing, and then you see a harvest. It's a principle. So why can't you just start from saving? Is the seed you need. Also, saving money will give you peace of mind. Your child wants to eat, you always don't have money. They're always chasing them out of school. That's not God's design. And that's not the design of any wealthy person. People plan. So when you save, you are saving to be able to eat, to be able to pay for rent, to be able to, by the way, your rent is a monthly bill, not an annual bill. For those of us who always wait till 2 months and you're chasing your whole family about for rent. I want to pay my rent. I want to, people do it with a legit passion. Like, rent is heavy. Now I'm thinking, what have you been doing all year? He gave you a year's notice. So it's the height of your responsibility when you earn an income consistently and you can't cater to specific things that are needs. I'm not talking about emergencies. Guess what? Even emergencies, you're supposed to cater to them. So there's no excuse for being indisciplined financially. You shouldn't be looking for your rent every time. Save it. I remember a lady, she was my classmate in school very long time ago. She reached out to me, she was in a financial mess. And I told her, I started teaching her these things. And the same person that, because I think she wasn't with her husband, the same person that always had to call our children's school to beg them to give her some time to pay the school fees, and always had to struggle to pay her mom's rent, now pay her children's school fees ahead of time because she just started to save and plan her finance. And they didn't increase her salary. Like my case, when I came out of the financial mess I was in, it was the same salary. I was working in the same office. Everything was the same except my mindset. I had learned about budgeting and I started to apply it, and that was all. That's why I always tell people budgeting got me out of debt. Just that simple principle will help you achieve some things financially. If you're not in debt, you're in a good place. So, how about building wealth? Budget to save and all of those things. Prioritize saving and investment, then the rest is what you spend. It's not the other way. You're not looking for what is left after you've spent everything else. You put it aside first, and then whatever is left is what you will survive on. And I tell you the truth, nothing will go wrong. You'll be fine. So let's save consistently. Another thing is invest with understanding and patience. So please, can you help me display that calculator here?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to share that myself. Sorry, let me
Okay.
do that. Yes, let me do that. It will be easier for me to control that. Okay. I want to show something here. Perhaps I just hope that it will help somebody. So this is a regular calculator online. You can check it yourself. Investment calculator. Can you all see my screen now?
Yes.
Thank you. So assuming you want to start your investment journey, this is where understanding, and I'm going to show us patience. You know what? Let's look at let me stop. Please play the video first, and then I'll come back to this. I want to teach us something about patience when it comes to investing. Yes, thank you. Please, let's pay attention to this video.
The goose that laid golden eggs. One day, a poor farmer suddenly got a goose. It was a special goose that laid one golden egg every day.
My heavens! This is unbelievable! The egg is gold! Ha ha ha!
The poor farmer decided to sell the eggs. And soon after, he became rich.
That's a good goose! Keep laying those golden eggs!
The farmer became very greedy. He was now already rich, but he wanted to become even richer.
How come the goose lays only one egg a day? There's no way I'm going to become really rich like this. There must be a way to collect a bunch of golden eggs at one time.
The farmer became so greedy that all he thought about was getting richer.
Ooh! I bet there are a bunch of golden eggs inside the goose's belly. I bet if I cut open its belly, I could get them all out at once.
So the greedy farmer cut open the goose's belly, but there were no golden eggs inside. In fact, there was nothing inside.
Oh, how could I have been so foolish? My greed has caused me to lose everything now.
At that moment, the farmer understood what he had done, but it was too late, because the goose was now dead and there were no more golden eggs.
Oh, my poor eggs!
Exactly. You get the drift, Dr. Sambi. He ate his capital. Exactly. What was producing the results? He ate it. And that's why he found himself. Now, you also see the need for delayed gratification there. But the very principle I want to point out with this is the principle of being patient when it comes to investing, having a long-term perspective to it. See, don't think about your financial success as a function of 1 year, 2 years. I want us to think about 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, especially for those of us here who may just have started working. Time is your friend. You can begin today and build up something in the next 10 years. You can actually be rich in 10 years, in 15 years. It sounds like it's a long time, but hello, you started working 5 years ago already. Now it's already 5 years. When you got the job, it felt like, wow, 5 years would take a long time. I remember when I joined the bank, I said, I'm just gonna work in this place for 5 years and I'll be done. That was the attitude we had. But lo and behold, we did 10 years eventually and almost had nothing to show for it. Thank God I didn't live with any debts and all of that. So, but you can be on a job for so long and 10 years will just run fast before you know it. So I'm telling us, I'm calling our consciousness to the fact that 10 years is not so far. You can just give yourself that timeline, 5 years, 10 years, and begin to work. So I'm just going to share the link with us now to show you the power of long-term thinking, patience when it comes to investing. If you grab this, you will never fall for any get-rich-quick scheme again. If you try any get-rich-quick scheme, even though I don't advise it, it will just be a case of can we see my screen?
Yes.
Or good, thank you. So if you try it, it'll just be a case of, I have a lot of money, let me take some risks and all of that. But even people who are financially savvy, they make sure they don't do that. So they avoid doing such a thing. So so this is it. I want to show us patience when it comes to investment. I also want to show us something powerful with this principle. Some people who are in my community, they already know this, but for the benefit of those who are here for the first time, I want to show you something. So I'm sure we can see the ones there. And then let's start with 50K. I like to use minimal figures so people don't think that, oh, this is not for me. Generally, please permit us if you have more than this here. But let me just use this figure. So I don't know. If I invest, why is it not typing? Uh-oh. So if I invest, oops, something is wrong. Why? So if I invest this, okay, for, I don't know why this cursor keeps leaving it. 15%. Okay. I think you need to help me. It's not working anymore. I thought it was gonna work. Okay, is this interest rate part? Why? Oh. Okay, can you it's gonna be tough for you to share for me. Okay, let me see. The interest rate. Okay, Ekundai, I think is it Ekundai? I'm sorry. Please, I think you need to share it for me.
Yeah.
Yes. And you will need to be the one to help me present this. I'll just tell you what to do.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, I can see it. So, okay. So you have 50, please put 50,000. So I'm sure everybody can see this. Once you're investing 50,000 once, let's use a rate of a reasonable rate as we have of today. Let's say, let's even just do 17% per annum. Remember, it's per annum, 17%, and you invest it for 1 year. So period will be 1. Good. So let's calculate that. So at the end of 1 year, you put 50,000 at 17% and you get 559,000. Now, for someone who put 50,000, imagine you now say, how much will I get? And I tell you 9,000 for 1 year, you'll be like, 1 year. we always have that exclamation and expression like our money is 50 million. So 50,000 in a year will bring you to 59,000 in a year. The question is, did they give me the 17%? Those are the things you want to confirm. If the answer is a yes, so the responsibility is on you to then know that this principle of investing works. Let me make sure that my own input is bigger and better for better results. So please change it from once to monthly. Yes. So 50,000 every month. Please, monthly deposits should be 50,000 too. So every month, instead of once a year, like some of us invest, and we expect magic, you now decide to be disciplined to do that every month, 50,000. Please, let's calculate that. Okay, so we have 717,000. Now, 50,000 times 12 is 600,000. So if you separate that, if you minus that, that means you've earned 117,000 on your money in 1 year at a reasonable rate that is available most times, even though not all the time. 17% for 1 year, you have earned another 117 on your money for that year. So please, can you change it to 5 years? Same rate, same monthly, but 5 years. Okay, so if you invest 50,000 every month consistently, every month, and you do it for the period of 5 years, you will have 4,861,632. Your total investment in 5 years is 3 million. So you have earned an extra 1,861,632 on your money. Please, can you move up a bit? Okay, so let's now take it. No, just move up a bit so that figure can show. Yes, good. So if you do it monthly 50,000, now let me quickly show some of us that can do put 100,000 there, what it will come to. 100,000 every month, yes. You want to start investing? Calculate it, please. Same rate, and then for 5 years, you have 9,723,265. How much did you invest in 5 years? If you do 100,000, that's 1.2 times 5 years, which is 1.2 million every year, right? Times 5 equal to 6 million, and you have 9 million in interest. Yeah. So so the difference is what, 3.7 extra in 5 years. Please, can you go back up? Change it to 50,000 back. I just want to keep it minimal so people don't think rich people are rich magically because they were born with money. This is how on your own, with patience, you can become rich. So, and this is not, you're not taking risks here, right? So interest rate is falling right now, yes, but it's up and down, right? People do you know that even when during COVID, when interest rate fell on all the treasury bills and bonds, the rich were still investing in treasury bills because they understand that it's a long-term perspective. It may be low this year but high next year. Last year I did an investment for 27% secure investment. I did it 27% because I left it for a year. So those are some of the mindsets that we need to work on and embrace and say, you know what, this year it can be high, next year is low. The goal is for me to have that vehicle in place and do it consistently. Now I'm going to show you what you may be having issues with right now. So if you already have like almost 4.8 million in 6 years time, please can you help me put 4.8 million? Let's even say 4.5. You decide to spend the 360 something thousand. So initial amount is 4.5. Sorry, change it to once. Yeah, 4.5 at 17%. I'm keeping it. If you have 4.5, you are not likely to have 17%. You're able to get, if you give them for a whole year, you are able to get up to 20%. So you can even get 22%, depending on where you're investing. So let's do 20% and do it for another 5 years. One of the same 4.5 million that took you 5 years to build, now you're investing it for 5 years. Let's see what that comes to, because it's now bulk and you're willing to give them for 5 years. This is what you have on your 4.5 million in 5 years without adding anything to it. So your 4.5 million has added up to 7.5, more than 7.5 million, without you adding to it. But because you have bulk money, you are able to negotiate a higher interest rate, and then you give it to them for a long term. This person is not the type of investor that after investing month one, and I get that a lot on our platform, they invest today, tomorrow they want to take out investment. You can't run away from tax in the world, please. Honestly, trust me. So it's part of it. But you invest today, the tomorrow morning you want to withdraw it, because you have your investment should have, there should be, you can have money, your emergency fund as something you can take anytime, but I'm talking about a long-term plan that gets you rich consistently. And look at this platform we are in, I'm still looking only at safe investments. Now please, this 4.5 million, can you change it to monthly? You are starting with 4.5 million and only adding 50,000. Don't forget that you may have been promoted over the years. Your income is not only leaving you to contribute 50,000 per month, but let's assume that you are not in the mood to invest, set out about any increase. You just want to do your 50,000. So let's do that. 4.5 million with an extra 50,000 every month for that 5-year period. Let's see what it comes to. You see the geometric increase from 12 million, because you were adding another 5 million to your 4.5 plus 6 million, that's 10.5. You have 17 point this. Okay, now let's look at a longer term period, please. That's 4.5 million every month, and for the next 10 years, you're just adding 50,000 to it. Can you put 10 years? Let's calculate it. This is 51 million. In 10 years, your original, if you do 50,000 for 10 years, that's 12 million plus 4.5 million. That's like 16 or 17 million, but you have 51. Little, your effort is now little at some point. Initially, it took a lot for you to get to the first 4.5 million. But after some time, and this is the principle for investing, your interest, because you're allowing your interest to earn interest, the power of compounding is coming to play. So it can be, it may not, there may be issues of, please, can you put 30 years there? Let's have 30 years. So if I am an employee and I give myself a 30-year horizon to build wealth in a secure investment, even as a business person, it's not tied to employee alone. You are investing your 50,000 little by little. You get to your first major capital of 4.5 and you continue to add 50,000 to it. In 10 years, 30 years, you are a billionaire at an interest rate that is secure. Yes, I know that rates can change. So you can work with maybe 9%, as at the time before President Tinubu came on board, it was at 9%, which is fine. And that's where we come in with other alternative investments to balance things out. That's what they call an investment portfolio. It means that the combination of things inside the portfolio. You can have maybe in year 15, maybe you had like 1 billion. You can have 1 billion and there's an opportunity to double it in a short while, maybe in real estate, and you will not put the money there. I'm just showing us the picture. I had my uncle, I have an uncle that throughout his working career, he only invested in treasury bills. When we started his treasury bills, by the time he built it up, it was a lot of money. In fact, he always spent the grandchild of the return, because he would give me the 200 million, say, do this. And then the interest that comes was always around 20-something million. He would say, do it again. So the 4.5 million or the 3 million that comes after the 2 levels is what he would say, credit my account to spend. You can, and that 200 million, he built it up from his income. They pay you annual benefits. They pay you one thing or the other. There are people here who earn money every quarter. They just give you a chunk for no reason. But we live large on it. We don't put anything aside. And that leaves us in a position where we feel like wealth building is impossible. This is an employee picture. You can become a billionaire as an employee in 30 years. And I trust me, it will get to 30 years. There's a story of a man who worked in insurance and decided he just zoomed into the future, 30 years, and came back to today. If I want to be a billionaire in dollars in 30 years' time, how much do I need to invest today to get to it? You can calculate based on this calculator. So he found out that his was $2,000 every month. So he started setting aside $2,000 every month, investing, doing his business. As a salesperson in insurance, he was getting commissions. That alone made him to work harder. In 15 years' time, he just looked at his investment and realized that he could actually, with his experience, set up his own insurance company as against a 30-year period of investing and all of that. And with that money that he had invested, he set up his own insurance company, and that's how he became a billionaire. So it may not take you 30 years. I'm just trying to, can you stop sharing the screen? Thank you. I'm just trying to paint us a picture of what patiently investing can get us. Now, what is the key to investing? Is to set aside a portion of your income consistently in an investment vehicle over a period of time. Trust me, I know about high risk investments. I have clients I consult for that at some point will say, let's do this. At some point will say, pull out. At some point you can say this. So you can move things around. You may not even be able to consistently put that amount that we just showed you aside right now, because you may get married and your financial trajectory will change. I know all of those things. I know about withholding tax, but withholding tax is on your profit, it's not on your capital. So all those things that we see as limits become something that we can easily use as leverage. We can take them and begin to apply them and use them as leverage as against saying this is happening, this is not happening. Those limits are not going to go. I remember the popular video from Mrs. Folorunsho Alakija that I watched, and she said, when I started my business, the challenges in the economy of Nigeria were always there. There was power issue. There was the issue of instability in terms of the rates of the forex and everything. It affected, and that I could have been limited to say, because of those things, I won't do anything. The question is, how much are you doing right now with what you currently earn? When we get to the level where you need to consult on tax, where you need to consult on anything else, take more risk, we can consider that. But have you even started? Can you see what is possible with the income you currently earn? That's exactly what I want us to focus on. So as I begin to round off because of time, you must learn to live below your means as well. If your income is 2 million, spend 1.5. If your income is 500,000, spend 300 or 350 or 450. Never be in a position where you spend everything. Those are healthy financial habits that get people rich. The goal is to make sure that money doesn't leave you as fast as it is coming. So what you're working on is let money come in fast. But when it comes to spending, you are strict. I have a mentor that as a billionaire, I was telling him, sir, you should be on prepaid though. All these MTN phone calls, because we were together and his credit finished. And I'm like, sir, your credit finishes. He said, uh-huh. I'm like, you? And he was like, yeah, why are you surprised? I said, I just thought you would be on a prepaid plan that, gives you unlimited package to just call at will. And he said, no, TY, I'm not there yet. And I'm thinking, you're a billionaire, you're not there. So when will you get there? So it's the mindset that I'm trying to get us to have here. Live below your means, keep things minimal and all of that. Setting financial goals, please have long-term perspective. Don't think about immediate returns. Always think, and in fact, anything that tells you immediate returns, avoid them. Look for the ones that give you long-term returns. Build multiple income streams as well. As an employee, that's very easy. Invest in things that will help you earn money, that will grow your net worth. Just keep putting the money in assets, your salary. And then in no time, I remember that my ex-customer as a banker, he will call me, then they used to send dividends in checks. He will come in and call me to come and pick his dividends. And his capital is there, his investment is there growing, and he was getting dividend in millions. I literally helped him to write those deposit slips. And when I calculate all his dividend, it was always in millions. I'm thinking, how much did this man invest in the stock market? If you don't know, the Nigerian stock market is one of the places you can build wealth. So please explore that. So if you're a business person, look at different ways that your business can generate income. It may be tough, but keep looking under every rock. And as an individual or an employee who may not have time to run a business, look for investment portfolios where have your clear financial plan, the 10-year plan, 5-year plan, and fit it in with your portfolio. This is the picture. It's like going on a journey to a destination. Wealth building is a destination. For all of us, the destination may be, in terms of what it is, may be different, but the goal is to become wealthy, right? The route is investing. So we can't become rich without investing. So you better get on board on time. And then the different stops on the way are the different portfolios. You know, when you're driving on the road, somebody can turn left, somebody turn right, somebody goes straight. Maybe you buy stock, another person buys treasury bills, another person buys real estate, whichever it is. Some people build businesses, whatever it is, you need to have a portfolio that you're putting your money into, and you do it in stages. There's something called the secure baskets, which you must start from. Don't be somebody who has never built an investment portfolio, but you want to start with Bitcoin. You want to start with all the all the high risk investments. No, build your secure basket reasonably, and then you can start looking at other forms of investment. You have the high risk basket, you have the dreams basket as well. So how do you cultivate healthy habits? Number one is awareness, like what we're doing today. Start by also the awareness of where your money is going. What do I even do with my money? Am I really prioritizing things that will help me get wealthy? So you sit down and take your statement and review where your money is going, so you are aware of your current situation. Many times people come to me with a lot of debt. They are afraid to calculate. I'm saying that's the beginning. We need to know how much it is. Once you know how much it is, it becomes something that you feel like you can achieve. So awareness is a starting point. Number two, education, like we're doing right now. Webinars. The best form of education I recommend is to read books. Please read money books. I've recommended two to you here. Read them. Learn from people who already built wealth. Reading helps you to get the right mindset very easily, because while you're reading, you can peek into the mindset of the writer, who, especially the successful ones, and be able to learn how they're doing it. So the gap between where you are financially and where you want to be is a knowledge gap. It's just something you don't know. So you need to read books to be able to find out those gaps. Accountability will help as well. Get a mentor who holds you accountable to your goals. Just tell the mentor, sir, 5 years time, I should be here. I need you to hold me accountable. You see, many times a lot of us don't pay money for coaching. We don't pay money for mentorship, but I've got a few people who do that. And honestly, I've seen the results in their life, because sometimes you can't go on the journey alone. You need somebody to speak to you. Have you ever thought about how people like Brian Tracy, John Maxwell, they go speak, Tony Robbins, they have conferences that are $20,000 per person, and people buy it. Do you think they want to throw money around? No. They know about the power of being under mentorship, the power of being under accountability, the power of relating with people who have done bigger things than you want to do and learning from them. So it's important that you find a financial community of people with like minds that you can join and learn from. Whatever works for you, a mentor or anything, to help you. Automation, please use it to your advantage. Reflection as well. Think about your money mindset. How did it start? For some of us, is exposure to the wrong money mindset from growing up. You just saw that in the house. As daddy is collecting salary, 2 weeks after, we're already broke. And our cornflakes that used to be very rich, now, the milk used to be rich. After 2 weeks of salary, the milk is now watery. So something tells you that when you are a salary earner, suffering is the pattern. But that's not true. You can use your income to create wealth and all of that. So we need to have the right mind. So always think about things like that and see how you can come out of the loop. Also change your language. I can be rich. The principles for wealth. No matter how hard it is for me, I will learn it. Your words carry power, so you need to always speak the language. So every principle that makes rich people rich, I can apply them as well. And then, of course, consistency. See, it's not in doing it once. Don't say 50. Don't invest 50% and 50,000 once a year, and expect magic. Do it consistently. 50,000 every month, for the next 5 years, for the next 10 years is the secret to wealth building. Any day, anytime. In the process, an idea for a business can come. You can channel resources to it. In the process, you can get a tax consultant who will guide you on how to minimize your tax payments and all of that. In the process, that's when, until see, the whole idea for this thing I'm teaching is not for you to get the bulk of the results instantly. No, it's your frame of mind. There's a mindset for wealth that if you don't have, you can never actually build wealth. For example, if you struggle to save, you're not ready. You're not ready actually, because it is when you get on that frequency that you can begin to see opportunities on that frequency. It's just like that car. Until you want that Range Rover Evoque, you may never see much. But the moment you want it, that's what you see. The moment you align with the principles for wealth, that's all you see. Wealth opportunities, the things you become aware of it. Everywhere you turn, you see money making opportunities. You're not complaining that I don't have enough money. You're looking for problems to solve. Your mindset is completely different. So transformation isn't just about money. It's about a mindset. It's a mindset. Let me tell you something. You can't think like a pauper and become a king, ever. And you cannot think like a king and remain a pauper for so long. The way you think is a reflection of your life right now. So if you're going to get to the next level, however successful you are financially, you need to change the way you think or upgrade the way you think. So and that way you can achieve bigger results that you desire. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Toyin. This has been 2 hours of insightful gems that she has dropped. If you're like me, my notepad is full, extremely full. We're actually past time, but please indulge us to take questions, okay? Please just give us like extra 10-15 minutes to just touch on questions. It's not every day we come by this kind of gem, so please indulge us. And so our people, yes,
no problem.
Yeah, and also to the audience, please indulge us. Just stay back a few minutes. Let's just touch base on some questions. I have one question here. I will also touch base on the ones that were dropped in the chat room. So a question here was that what can you say about the valuation of Naira over time? I mean, when it comes to compounding of interest, I think you had mentioned something about it though. Yeah, but the person wanted to know, maybe like deeper context to it. And also, there's a point where you had mentioned good pay for salary earners. So she's like, what is the definition of good pay? Yeah.
Well, it depends on good pay, very depending on your personality. There are some people who feel like, let me just earn 300K. Everything has changed. For some, their mindset is so big that they're thinking, I have to earn millions. So it would vary based on personality, actually, because really, 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 you attract who you are, basically. So there's a way you can. I have a mentor that didn't write his first book until maybe 20 to 25 years of his career, because his mindset is just that you can't give what you don't have. So, and he didn't want to write a book that he would be begging people to buy. He wanted to write a book that on their own people would buy it. And when they bought it, it was a lot of money that came in because they've seen his results and everybody wanted to read about it. They know that he will share principles on that. So it depends on who you are. You can get a 5 million naira job, you can get 2 million, you can get 1 million. The people getting it, they don't have two heads. They just go for it. So your work ethics also counts, because people are based on where. I always tell people that people don't have to actually resign jobs. Opportunities come for them. When you're very valuable where you are, they will be looking for you. It would come to you and all of that. So it won't be, because if I say 2 million, for example, I remember one of my staff that say, hey, when I tell them the story of that lady that was earning 2 million and was in debt and everything, I told them, my staff were like, 2 million. I'm like, if you don't do it now, you will get 2 million and you still not do it. So it depends on actually the level of the person's desire in terms of mindset about money and value. Also, of course, experience. Don't expect that you're an entry-level staff, you want to be earning the highest at the level. You need to pay your dues a bit and all of that. So it will vary. Now, on the valuation of the Naira, trust me, The Naira has been in devaluation for years. And these are some things that you don't control. What you need to do is when you get on your investment journey, you look for ways to minimize their impact on your money. But truthfully, like I said, Mrs. Folorunshua Oshika said, Nigeria has always had power issues when she started business. It's not a new thing. But that if you let that, she could have allowed that to stop her and say, no, I'm not investing for years. But she didn't. She took the initiative and faced. That's how we know you've got stuff. When you are somebody that despite challenges, you keep at it. What will happen eventually is because you have a long-term perspective to it, it balances out. Let me give you an example. Most people don't know that the Nigerian stock market is one of the places you can get rich over the years. The only thing they know is that, the stock market, when it crashed in that major crash that happened after all those initial public offering, I lost money. In fact, my share is valueless. May not be. You may not be. Have you checked with a stockbroker? Have you gotten a consultant to review? Have you even gone to make sure that your e-dividend is coming into your account? There's a lot of knowledge around it. So yeah, devaluation of Naira and all of that. And we may not have investments that will help us buffer the impact of inflation and all of those things eventually, but you can minimize it. The question I always ask is, your 10 million Naira in the future devalue to 8 million and zero because you decide because of the devaluation, I will not save or I will not invest. So you kept eating all your money. So your 10 million Naira in the future devalue to 8 million and nothing. Which one do you prefer? Because we tend to focus on some things that we shouldn't. The question is, and if you're somebody who is already on the path of investment and you feel like you need help to make sure that you secure your investment, please, you can reach out to me so we can talk further. But I'm just making sure that it's not because you don't want to do it, as you're focusing on devaluation. Yes, and it may never stop. You see, even if you, anyway, the Naira may be devalued again further in the future. Does it stop it? No. So it doesn't, they shouldn't stop you. And people still invest. Do you know when they put out bonds and all those government things, they don't stay on the ground. Rich people will just buy them up like that before you know it. Why? Because they know about investment. They buy it and leave it for 20 years. But for us, we want now, and then tend to focus on things that are not the main things. So that's the point.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to
welcome.
run through some of the questions in the chat room so you can answer them as quick as you can. So this is from Toyin Umaro. She says, what do you think about taking a mortgage to buy a property?
Please buy it. Please buy it. Just make sure that the property is on the path of development, is a good location that will yield value in the future. That's one way to, because when you take mortgage, for some people that even struggle to save money and all that, if you can get a mortgage, that money that you should be saving that you are struggling to save, they will help you collect it automatically. So that's one of the areas where you can get a loan to achieve it. Just make sure that if they give you a mortgage for 30 years, try and pay it off in 10. So for the next 10 years, you eat rice and beans. That's an American thing. When you are eating rice and beans, it's considered you're broke and living minimally. So eat rice and beans for the next 10 years to pay it off as fast as possible, because there's no form of debt that you want to allow to linger. If anything happens, what can your children sustain it or anything? So let's work with that consciousness.
Thank you very much, Ma. This is from Abraham Isaac. He said, you said you will not advise anyone to take loans to start a business. What about business grants from public institutions that requires you to pay back after some years?
If grants that require you to pay back, that's not a grant. It's an investment.
Pay back after some years.
No, they just gave you moratorium. That's not a grant. A grant is free. What you got is a loan with moratorium, which is a grace period. And regardless of how long it is, if you feel like the business can work successfully in those years, why not? You can go for it. But for startup, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. I've been in a lot of incubation programs. Most investors don't want to do startup. They have seed capital and seed funding, but they're very selective. You have to be in an industry that they can recoup their money as fast as possible. before you do that. So if it's your business or anything, I recommend you use family and friends to build until you're able to ascertain that this thing is working and I need an investor. Even when you get the investor, you need to be very careful so that the money doesn't go into the wrong things or the business is not able to yield the money in the future.
Thank you very much, Ma. There's something about, I think you touched base on it when we were talking about the compounding. She said, hope it's not too optimistic to assume 17% for 5 years, but I think you had actually talked about that. That, you know, you can actually.
Yeah, so it can change. It can change, yes. It can change. I was just working with current rate, but it was even higher. So 17 is lower right now because rates have been dropping. But I mean, it varies. In the long term, give it 15 years. Like again, if you take a stock of companies like First Bank, a bank like First Bank, they've returned dividend consistently for the last 30 years. But there were years that everything dropped to zero, like 2020 when there was COVID. All bank returns dropped. It doesn't mean it has failed. It just means that you have to wait for another year for things to bounce back, or 2 years. If you then average it consistently over a 10-year period, you're wealthier for it.
Okay, thank you very much, Master. I'm just going to read all 4 comments now. So when they would like to know, I think you'd mentioned something about your book. So someone wants to know the title of the book. Also, they want to know how they can follow you after the session, obviously social media and our website, MoneyWise. And then how can they contact you? And also, do you have an accountability community they can join? So I'm just going to allow Mrs. Toyin to speak on all of this, how you can reach out to her, you know, to move on with, you know, mentorship conversation and the likes.
All right, thank you so much for your interest. So we have a community. I don't know why my staff hasn't answered those questions. She's on the session and I don't know. So, but maybe if she's here, she can put in the phone number where you can reach me. And then we have a community, MoneyWise. If you go to our social media handle, you'll see the link to join the WhatsApp community. That way, anybody can reach me once you join the community. That WhatsApp group is for free. But when you want personalized sessions, that's when I charge. So we just have people within the community. When we have sessions and all of that, you can be part of it. And that's how you can reach me.
Thank you very much, Ma. So I think I'm just going to type MoneyWise so they understand how it's been spelled. Or if we have the person just drop a quick chat there so people can grab it before we close out.
Okay, let me do that. I don't so she's just done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been dropped. It's MoneyWise, and that's the WhatsApp number. Also, you can check out the website as well for any other information that you'd need. And of course, yes.
So that from that line, she can tell you.
If you could drop any social handles as well.
Yes, let her drop them.
Yes.
But our social media is at MoneyWise INTL. So MoneyWise INTL at MoneyWise. You see that easily on Instagram. We're not so much active on X, but correct. Facebook, Instagram. Yes, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. Yes. So this is the handle for the social channels. Please, if you'd like to follow. In fact, not if you'd like to follow, please follow. Right? You have to follow all of this that you've got today. There's all where it's coming from. Okay, yes, you have also dropped it. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, man. This has been so insightful. This has been amazing. So many gems you've dropped for us today. This is really beautiful. This is any other, I don't know, adjective to.
So this,
this is wonderful. And a lot of people are telling me thank you on the chat. You know, a lot of people are saying thank you for a wonderful session. You know, excellent delivery. Passion driven. You can obviously tell that no, she knows what she's saying. It's not as if she has gone to read something and came to point for us. It is something she knows and she's done over the years, and this is just so wonderful. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So there was a research that was done by an organization many years ago, and they wanted to know the difference between the rich and the poor. And the conclusion of that research was that the rich get inspired and do something with it, but the poor get inspired and do nothing. So please don't just have the session for nothing. Make sure that you take action. The difference is in the action. When a rich person reads a book, they read to pick up a principle and go apply it. But for the poor person, they just get inspired. They feel like, this was so good. And I see it happen all the time. And then they dump it and go on with life, thinking that it will just be magical. No, if you see anybody that is successful anywhere, they were deliberate. They designed that future and they started to align their life and their choices and their activity, everything with it to get them to where they are. So be deliberate, be intentional about your financial success, especially as we round off the year and enter a brand new year. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ma. I really appreciate it. One thing I wanted to mention that, a lot of things stood out for me in a lot of things, but you see this particular quote that you mentioned, I just want to mention it again for put it here. Money doesn't like it when you're not in control. Don't let money throw you about.
Yeah.
Be the one in control, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
let's go with that.
Yeah, thank you. That's it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ma. I really appreciate you.
They're asking for the recording.
Yes, Akinwale, yes, you would get the recording. We usually would upload this on our YouTube channel at the NESG, the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. So you should be up on the channel before the close of business. Also, if you are registered, right, before you join this, we also share via email to our registrants so they can also just rewatch as well. So yes, we'll definitely get this. And it's also how they create to rewatch if you want to. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Have a good time, everyone. I'm really grateful. Thanks to the management once again. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. Thank you. We hope you join us again next month for another insightful topic with another great speaker. Let's have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.